My name is Pardo, and I'm going to be running through how AI is leveling up the gaming industry. So I'm sure if you all have heard what AI is, and if you are in a creative field, I know that it can be quite daunting or even threatening to your industry. However, I will be talking about it from the standpoint that AI is a tool and it is not a supplementer nor a replacement for human input. And that is what I believe, and that is what I will be talking about today. Um, to start off with, I'm sure each of you has gone into an amusement park, and I'm sure most of you enjoyed your time there. The roller coasters and the carnival games, and especially the food, right? Well, imagine if every time that you walked into your favorite theme park, it was completely catered to you. That is what artificial intelligence is allowing in the game development industry right now. Let's say traditionally that an amusement park was created with a large team of architects, and then they designed everything, and then it took about a year for building to lay everything down, and another year for safety codes and everything until those gates opened. And now that the gates are open, that team they don't get to work on new ideas. They still have to figure out maintenance. They have to worry about safety codes and issues like that that could be supplemented by a robot or artificial intelligence. Um, so basically, if we relate that to the game development industry, we can see that artificial intelligence is kind of like an elite group of builders where the architects and the developers of the games can come in and design everything that they want, design the roller coasters, design the buildings and the layout of the park, what food they want to serve, introduce all of the rules to the game, the safety codes, and the economic side of what they can afford. And then the builders will come in and take half of a year instead of two to get the park up and running. And now the architects don't have to worry about uh, the safety hazards or maintenance of the park because they have this group of builders taking care of that, and they can instead focus on how they can impact the modern day consumer and how they can make the park better, improve the rides, create new rides, and it basically alleviates that stress. That's exactly what AI is doing, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So we can see that AI is influencing the industry in three big ways. Smarter NPCs, procedural world building, which is basically just how the game creates the world that the character is placed in, and how artificial intelligence is impacting these high-end gaming engines and how that impacts the overall industry itself. So let's talk about NPCs. Traditionally, an NPC, like in one of the first NPCs was in Mario, like the Goombas or the Koopas, where they walked in one direction and then fell off a cliff. Right, that was still an NPC. It was a set of code that influenced a entity and how it impacted the character, whether you stomped on it or it hit you. Obviously, things have changed now, where we have games like Minecraft that have zombies that can sense you from like 50 blocks away and get to your location pretty quickly. However, those zombies still have a set of rules. They still are just a block of code that runs the same thing over and over again. Now, what if you could actually move away from that? What if the zombies could think for themselves? Well, in allied and computational engineering, they have been researching and they released a study on behavior trees, which is what AI has been using to create new, more smart NPCs. It allows these NPCs to create new memories and new ideas for their interactions with players in the environment. In games like Skyrim, you have set dialogues that the player runs into an NPC. They say a line, and then you get a quest. Well, with artificial intelligence in that NPC, the NPC could talk about how your sword is far too large for your body type, or why you didn't save his daughter in the whenever a dragon attacked, or something like that. And then a new quest could be developed based off of the interactions of what you did in your game. So it would be completely unique to the player, completely unique to their save file, and that NPC is constantly learning through things that have happened. And now all these systems, these dialogue systems, are um, completely unique to you. In an AMC study, we can see that this generative AI for NPCs is a career field that has grown to almost 118% in like the past 3 to 4 years now. And even further, we can see how this is affecting procedural generation and world building. Like I said before, we had that group of architects that were designing this entire amusement park. Now those designers just get to keep designing while the AI is coming in to influence how the world is being created. We can see like the predecessor to this was Minecraft. This was kind of like phase one where they had seed-based world creation. You enter a string of numbers or letters, and you get a random world. It's unique to that world, to that seed, but it is not completely unique to the player or to the save. If somebody else had that same seed, they could get it as well. So along with that, the world is still going to be the same thing. Grass is going to spawn in a plain, a tree is going to spawn in that grass, and then underneath that grass is going to be a cave. while these things can be randomized over, they're still going to be the same thing spit out over and over again. We can see that this transition around COVID, where a surplus of game development occurred, and we got genetic algorithms, which basically learned through previous generations to create things that were more unique. And we can see that pushing it even further, Capital Tech actually ran a story on the phase three, which is machine learning driven generation, where the AI takes basically a set rule and is given almost complete freedom to create whatever it wants. We can see this in No Man's Sky, which has 18 quintillion unique planets that are out there waiting for the player to discover, because every time that a player ventures off to a new planet, the AI knows that a planet needs to be a sphere, and then it is basically given complete freedom to add whatever assets it wants to it, so that all these resources and everything is completely unique for that player's experience. Um, and then we can see that the engines are what's going to be tying this all together. But just before that, we're going to just unpack this analogy a little bit further. So, like we were talking about before, the architects, they had built every room, every ride by hand, and every park was the same for every visitor. We can see this in Rockstar Gaming as a real life example. They developed Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a highly successful game and very hands-on, and was very loved by the creators. It's very easy to tell. There's so much detail and beauty in it, but they spent 100 hours per week developing this game. Now, if you use AI assisted, that park is now going to take, probably 50 hours or a lot less time for workers to be overworked. And that's something that we've seen continuously in the gaming industry, is that many game developers are being overworked now to the point of unionization. But this allows for smaller teams to create large games. Um, and then we can continue on into our final point, which is how all of these AI tools that are being used in these engines is completely impacting the industry in ways that we haven't seen before. And we can tell AMC, additionally, in AMC study, they found that production costs have been basically more than half with the introduction of AI. We've seen a higher player retention rate from the uniqueness, and testing costs have even gone down. We can see overall in the industry that almost 20% of small developers are using these AI tools to push out larger games, and even 78% of AAA game developers are using artificial intelligence in their game engines, which basically shows that the entire industry has adopted this practice. Um, which leads us to our final conclusion, which is AI is not replacing game developers. It is a tool, and it will further become a stronger tool for more accessible for everyone. We saw that how it influenced NPCs with their strong behavioral trees that led to unique interactions or even new quests, and then procedural generation, how every new world is unique to you, and even with the engine, it is going to basically half the cost of games that we've seen have become very costly, even $60 to $120 for a everyday consumer. So we can see that AI is here to stay, but it's probably a good thing. And to finish it off, we can see that the architects are still here, and they still own the vision, they still own their game. But now we have thousands of these builders, thousands of AI that can come in and create this park and make it different for every time a new customer walks through that gate. Thank you for listening. These are my sources, and have a good day.